So the first organization is United Nations. United Nations is one of the most important organizations, and I would say that it was formed after the Second World War, and since then no third World War has happened. This is a great success of the United Nations. Its headquarters is at New York, United States of America. Next is an agency of United Nations which works for children welfare. It is called UNICEF. This is the logo of UNICEF. As you can see, the children. So it is United Nations Children Emergency Fund, and its headquarters is also at New York, United States of America. UNICEF is responsible for a lot of initiatives for the betterment and benefit of children across the globe. Next is World Trade Organization, one of the most important agencies of United Nations. Its headquarters is in the beautiful town of Geneva, Switzerland. In fact, Geneva has headquarters of more than 10 to 15 organizations, and therefore Geneva is one of the most important towns of the world with respect to exams. Next is World Health Organization, which is responsible for bringing health initiatives across the globe. A lot of initiatives in India have been funded by the WHO, and it is one of the most important agencies of the United Nations, because health is wealth after all, and its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. Next is World Meteorological Organization. The World Meteorological refers to climate. So this is an organization which is responsible for measuring the climate data, seeing the changes in the climate and overall climate changes across the globe, and its headquarters is also at Geneva, Switzerland. Now the next is World Intellectual Property Organization. Intellectual property is your own creation. For example, if you have a patent, that is your intellectual property. If you write a song, that is your intellectual property. Intellectual property is just like any property, just that it is a creation of your own intellect, own mind. So World Intellectual Property Organization, the headquarters is again at Geneva, Switzerland. Next is World Food Program. World Food Program, the headquarters is in Rome, Italy. Very, very important World Food Program. Next is Universal Postal Union. Universal Postal Union is at Bern, Switzerland. Next is United Nations University. United Nations University is at Tokyo, Japan. United Nations Population Fund, in short, which is called UNFPA. United Nations Population Fund, the headquarters is at the place where there is headquarters of UNICEF and headquarters of United Nations itself. It is in New York, United States of America. Next is United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. UNODC takes various initiatives to control drugs, human trafficking, crimes across the globe, and its headquarters is at Vienna, which is the capital of Austria. Now please note, don't get confused between Austria and Australia. Australia is a separate continent altogether near New Zealand. Austria is a small country in Europe. Next is UNIDO. UNIDO is called United Nations Industrial Development Organization. Its headquarters is again at Vienna, Austria. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, one of the most important organizations, because it is the job of the United Nations to look after the refugees. Now there have been a lot of refugees in countries where a lot of wars are going on. For example, recently there are wars in Afghanistan, Turkey, Syria, etc. And therefore the condition of the refugees is very, very bad. So UNHCR tries to do its bit for refugees, to bring them into mainstream, to give them shelter, food, etc. through its various initiatives, through its various activities, and therefore United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is very, very important. Its headquarters is at Geneva, Switzerland. Next is United Nations Environment Program. United Nations Environment Program, the headquarters is in Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi is the capital of Kenya. It looks for the environment changes again. Next is UNESCO. UNESCO is one of the most important organizations because it is responsible for a lot of things. It is called United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, and its headquarters is in the beautiful city of Paris, France, capital of France, Paris, and it is responsible for even protection of various sites which are called cultural heritage sites. Next is United Nations Development Program, UNDP. Its headquarters is at New York, United States of America. United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, its headquarters is at Geneva, Switzerland again. It looks after the trade and development across nations. International Telecommunication Union, its headquarters is also at Geneva, Switzerland. International Monetary Fund, it is the second biggest fund after World Bank in the world. It has one of the highest number of subscribers, and International Monetary Fund, the headquarters is in the capital of United States of America, which is called Washington DC. World Bank has given maximum loan to India out of all the countries in the world in the last 50 years. This report was released by the World Bank. We are the biggest beneficiaries. India is the biggest beneficiary of the loan from the World Bank, and its headquarters is also where there is headquarters of IMF. So both World Bank and IMF have headquarters at Washington, USA. Next is NATO. NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Its headquarters is at Brussels, Belgium, which is a country in the Europe. And NATO is very, very popular. NATO is very powerful because it has a lot of countries, and they have one rule. If you attack one country of NATO, that means you are attacking all the countries of NATO. NATO is dominated by the United States of America. Next is OECD. OECD is called Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Its headquarters is in the beautiful city of Paris, which is the capital of France. And OECD is very, very important for establishing economic cooperation between the countries. Next is International Olympic Committee, which conducts Olympic Games. It is responsible for everything related to Olympics, and its headquarters is in the Lausanne in Switzerland. International Hockey Federation, which looks after all the hockey events across the world like the Hockey World Cup and various other initiatives. Its headquarters is also in Lausanne, Switzerland. IUCN, it is the International Union for Conservation of Nature, and IUCN, please note that IUCN gives the red list also for protection of various species which are on the verge of extinction. Its headquarters is in Gland in Switzerland. Next is very important organization which is called Doctors Without Borders. In French it is called Médecins Sans Frontières. This basically helps in health activities across the world, and its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. FIDE. FIDE is the world body for chess. It is also called World Chess Federation, and its headquarters is in the city of Athens, which is the capital of Greece. International Cricket Council, this is easy. Its headquarters is in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Next is OPEC. OPEC are all those countries put together which export oil. So it is the organization of petroleum exporting countries like Saudi Arabia, like Angola, Venezuela, etc. These countries are part of the OPEC, and the headquarters of OPEC is in Vienna, which is the capital of Austria. Next is Transparency International, which tries to fight corruption across the globe, high profile corruption cases. Its headquarters is in the capital of Germany, Berlin. Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which is a group of various countries which are predominantly Islamic. Their headquarters is in the city of Jeddah in Middle East. The Commonwealth, which organizes Commonwealth Games also, it is a big organization having a lot of countries like India, South Africa, etc. And its headquarters is in London, United Kingdom. Next is Amnesty International. Amnesty International is basically regarding ethics, and it prevents human rights. It claims to protect human rights across the world. For example, if there is any Indian who is trapped in Saudi Arabia, Amnesty International will try to give him mercy, will try to file petition, etc. Its headquarters is in London, United Kingdom. It is also very, very important organization. Next is International Maritime Organization. Maritime means anything related to oceans. So this is responsible for all the activities related to oceans, settling ocean disputes also. And International Maritime Organization is in London, UK. It is mainly concerned with oceans. International Labour Organizations. It is again very, very important. Its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. It is responsible for all the labour related issues between the countries. Next is International Fund for Agriculture Development. Its headquarters is in Rome, Italy. Anything that has related to food is in Italy. So for example, World Food Program is in Italy. Food and Agriculture Organization is in Italy, and IFAD, International Fund for Agriculture Development, is also in Italy. International Court of Justice. International Court of Justice, the headquarters is in The Hague, which is a city in Netherlands. Netherlands is also called Holland. It looks for various disputes between the countries. ICAO is International Civil Aviation Organization. Its headquarters is in the beautiful city of Montreal, Canada. International Atomic Energy Agency. International Atomic Energy Agency, which looks for various issues related to nuclear power, atomic power, etc. Its headquarters is at Vienna, Austria. Food and Agriculture Organization, as I said, anything related to food and agriculture, the headquarters will be in Italy. So its headquarters is in the capital of Italy called Rome. SAARC. SAARC is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It is composed of 8 countries like Nepal, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, etc. And SAARC is very, very important organization. Its headquarters is at Kathmandu, Nepal. ASEAN. ASEAN is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Southeast Asian nations like Singapore, like Malaysia, Indonesia, etc. And its headquarters is at Jakarta, which is the capital of Indonesia. APEC. APEC is Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation, and its headquarters is in Singapore. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, it is a bank which is dominated by China. China has the maximum share in AIIB and it gives out loans for various infrastructure related activities in Asia. Its headquarters is in Beijing, China. NDB is the New Development Bank, which is also called the BRICS Bank because the BRICS countries have kept their money in it. Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Its headquarters is in Shanghai in China. ADB is a Japan dominated bank because the maximum share in ADB is of Japan and it is called Asian Development Bank. Its headquarters is in the capital of Philippines, which is called Manila. It is the Red Cross organization, which is one of the most important organizations related with blood donation and various other health initiatives across the globe. Its headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland. It is called International Committee of the Red Cross. UEFA, which is the football body in Europe. All the football tournaments in Europe are conducted by UEFA, such as UEFA Euro or UEFA Champions League, and its headquarters is in Nyon in Switzerland. Then you have the FIFA, which is the world governing body. It conducts World Cup and various other cups which are at the world level, and FIFA is the most important body